Hello Army, welcome back to my channel. If you've been following the Arirang World Tour's journey across America, you already know BTS has been making their way through some of the country's biggest and most iconic stadium venues, and their latest stop just brought them to Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts, marking the very first time the group has ever performed at this particular venue. And even before the actual concert began, Jimin was already generating this incredible wave of fan reaction, simply from footage captured during Soundcheck. Let's talk through everything happening during this Boston area stop, why this Soundcheck moment specifically caught fire online, and what we know about how the actual show itself unfolded. So let's start with the full context of this particular tour stop, because it's genuinely significant within the broader story of this already historic American touring leg. BTS is performing two shows at Gillette Stadium on Wednesday, August 5th, and Thursday, August 6th, marking their first ever performances at this specific venue and officially becoming the largest headlining K-pop show ever hosted at Gillette Stadium. These concerts also served as the kickoff event for the entire 2026 Gillette Stadium concert series, giving this particular stop an extra layer of significance beyond just being another tour date on this already extensive American run. Let's talk about the broader significance of this specific touring stretch, because it represents BTS's first headline performances as a complete group since their earlier Permission to Dance on Stage tour, which spanned 12 shows across Seoul, Las Vegas, and Los Angeles back during the 2021 to 2022 period. That's a genuinely meaningful piece of context, because it means this Arirang World Tour, including this specific Gillette Stadium stop, represents something the group hasn't done at this scale in several years now, adding even more weight to every single stop along this journey, including this particular visit to the greater Boston area. Now let's get into the specific moment that's brought us here today, because this is honestly one of those genuinely charming, low-key viral moments that tends to happen throughout major touring cycles like this one. Ahead of the actual concert, fans shared footage of Jimin during Soundcheck, and the reaction to this footage was honestly overwhelming, even though we're talking about a moment that technically happened before the actual show had even started. In this footage, Jimin appeared in what's been described as a completely simple, understated outfit, nothing particularly elaborate or performance-specific, paired with sunglasses, walking through the empty stadium as part of the pre-show preparation process. Let's talk about why this particular clip generated so much genuine excitement and admiration from fans, because it really does capture something meaningful about his overall presence and charisma as a performer. Fans specifically described the moment using phrases like effortlessly stunning, noting that even in this stripped-down, unglamorous Soundcheck context, without elaborate stage costuming, without the full production lighting and effects that come with the actual show, without any of the typical trappings we associate with a massive stadium concert, he still managed to capture attention and generate this level of genuine excitement online. One fan account specifically captured this sentiment perfectly, writing that it was only a soundcheck, not even the actual concert yet, but Jimin's simple outfit and natural visuals had already stolen every spotlight. That same post went on to note that he proves true star power doesn't need extravagance, that it shines on its own. Another version of this sentiment being shared described it even more directly, simply stating that it was just a soundcheck, yet Jimin already looked like the main event. Let's think about why this specific kind of moment resonates so strongly within the fandom, beyond just simple appreciation for his physical appearance. There's something genuinely meaningful about watching someone command this level of attention and admiration during what's essentially just a technical rehearsal process, the unglamorous, purely functional part of preparing for a massive stadium show that most audiences never actually get to see. Soundcheck exists purely for practical purposes, testing audio levels, checking positioning, making sure all the technical elements are properly calibrated before the actual paying audience arrives. It's not designed to be a performance moment in any traditional sense, and yet, based on this fan reaction, Jimin's natural presence and charisma were compelling enough to generate genuine excitement even within this purely functional, behind-the-scenes context. Let's also touch on the broader significance of this kind of unscripted, informal moment compared to the heavily produced, choreographed performance segments that typically define a full stadium concert. There's a genuine authenticity to soundcheck footage that differs meaningfully from the polished, rehearsed nature of the actual show itself. Fans capturing and sharing this kind of content get this unique glimpse into a more relaxed, informal version of Jimin, walking through an empty stadium, going through the practical motions of preparing for the night ahead, without any of the elaborate staging or performance pressure that comes with the actual concert. And based on the reaction we've seen, that more relaxed, natural presentation resonated just as strongly, if not more so, than his typical performance persona. Let's shift now to talking about the actual show itself, because once the real concert began, that same energy and charisma translated into an equally compelling performance, based on everything fans have shared from this first night specifically. Additional footage circulating from this Foxborough stop captured Jimin delivering exactly the kind of high-energy, emotionally compelling performance we've come to expect throughout this entire touring cycle, described by fans using words like extraordinary, accompanied by genuine excitement about witnessing this level of performance in person during this Boston area stop. Let's think about what made this particular show night especially significant within the broader context of this tour's American leg. As we've discussed, this represents BTS's first ever performance at Gillette Stadium, adding this genuine sense of occasion to the entire night, beyond just being another stop on an already extensive touring schedule. Fans traveling in specifically for this show, some coming from various parts of New England and beyond, given the venue's accessibility from cities like Providence as well as Boston itself, were witnessing genuine history within the broader story of this group's American touring presence. Let's also touch on the practical logistics that went into making this Gillette Stadium stop happen, because it speaks to just how much coordination goes into a touring production of this scale. Given that this show represented the first time BTS had ever performed at this specific venue, there was likely significant advance planning required to adapt this tour's now signature 360-degree in the round stage designed to this particular stadium's specific layout and infrastructure. That immersive staging approach, which we've discussed extensively in previous videos covering other stops on this tour, requires genuinely careful venue-specific planning to execute properly, ensuring that audience members throughout every section of the stadium get that same immersive, all-encompassing view of the performance regardless of where their seats happen to be located. Let's think about the broader significance of Jimin specifically continuing to generate this level of individual fan attention and admiration throughout every single stop on this extensive touring cycle. We've discussed throughout this entire comeback year just how consistently his individual moments, whether that's specific choreographic highlights, styling choices, or now, even something as seemingly minor as soundcheck footage, continue generating genuine excitement and detailed fan documentation. This Boston area stop represents just the latest example of that already well-established pattern, with fans capturing and sharing content from literally every phase of the show, from pre-performance preparation all the way through the actual concert itself. Let's also spend some time thinking about why moments like this soundcheck footage tend to spread so quickly and generate this level of engagement across social media platforms. Behind the scenes, informal content often performs exceptionally well within fandom spaces precisely because it offers something different from the typical, expected concert footage that fans have already seen countless times throughout an extensive touring cycle. Watching a performer in this more relaxed, unguarded state, going through the practical preparation process ahead of a massive show, provides this genuinely fresh, different kind of content that stands out from the more standard performance clips that dominate most fan documentation of these tour stops. Let's think about the broader emotional context surrounding this specific tour stop as well, given everything we've discussed regarding just how significant this entire American touring leg has been within the broader story of BTS's post-military service comeback. Every single stadium show throughout this touring cycle carries this underlying significance of celebrating the group's full return to this level of collective activity, and having Jimin specifically continue generating this level of individual fan excitement and admiration throughout the broader celebration adds this additional layer of meaning to an already significant moment within the group's ongoing story. Let's also touch on the specific visual elements that fans highlighted from that soundcheck footage, because understanding those details helps explain exactly why this particular clip resonated so strongly. The simple jacket, the sunglasses, the natural, unstyled presentation, all of these elements combine to create this genuinely relatable, down-to-earth version of Jimin that still managed to project this undeniable sense of star quality, even without any of the typical performance trappings we'd expect from a major touring artist. That specific combination, genuine relatability paired with undeniable natural charisma, is exactly the kind of quality that tends to generate this level of enthusiastic fan response. Let's think about how this specific Gillette Stadium stop fits within the broader pattern of American tour dates we've been tracking throughout this entire touring cycle. Following the historic World Cup final halftime show, the massive two-night run at MetLife Stadium in New Jersey, and now this significant first-ever performance at Gillette Stadium in Massachusetts, this tour continues making its way through some of the biggest and most significant stadium venues throughout the American Northeast, each stop generating its own unique collection of memorable moments and fan-documented highlights. Let's also spend some time discussing what makes Gillette Stadium specifically such a significant venue within the broader landscape of American stadium touring. This facility regularly hosts NFL games for the New England Patriots, along with numerous other major sporting events and concerts throughout the year, placing it firmly among the most significant, high-profile venues throughout the entire American Northeast region. Having BTS headline not just one, but two consecutive nights at this venue, immediately becoming the largest K-pop show this stadium has ever hosted, represents another genuinely significant milestone within this already historic touring cycle. Let's think about what this Boston area stop might continue to reveal as more footage and fan reactions continue circulating from both nights of this significant tour stop. Given how much positive attention that initial soundcheck footage generated, combined with the equally enthusiastic response to the actual performance itself, it's reasonable to expect continued waves of content and discussion emerging from this entire Gillette Stadium run, particularly once both nights have concluded and fans have had the opportunity to fully process and share their complete experience of this historic first-time performance at this particular venue. Let's also touch on the broader significance of this kind of consistent, positive fan reaction continuing to follow Jimin throughout literally every phase of this touring cycle, from pre-show preparation, through the actual performance itself, and presumably through whatever additional content and interactions happen after the show concludes as well. This consistent pattern of generating genuine excitement and admiration across every single aspect of his public presence throughout this tour speaks to something meaningful about his overall connection with fans at this particular point in his career, extending well beyond just his performance skills specifically into this broader, more comprehensive appreciation of his overall presence and charisma as an artist. Let's think about the practical significance of fans specifically choosing to document and share something as seemingly minor as soundcheck footage, rather than waiting for the actual performance content that typically generates the most attention throughout a touring cycle. This choice to specifically highlight and celebrate this pre-show moment suggests a genuine, comprehensive appreciation for every aspect of what fans get to witness throughout these major touring stops, rather than exclusively focusing on the most obviously impressive, polished performance segments that dominate most concert coverage. Let's also spend some time thinking about how this specific moment might continue to be referenced and discussed as fans look back on this particular stop within the broader context of this entire touring cycle. Given how much genuine excitement this soundcheck footage generated, it wouldn't be surprising if this specific moment becomes one of the more frequently referenced highlights from this particular Boston area stop, standing alongside whatever additional memorable moments emerge from the actual concert performances themselves across both nights at this venue. Let's wrap up by recapping everything we've discussed today regarding this notable Boston area tour stop. BTS made their debut appearance at Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, Massachusetts, performing two shows on August 5th and 6th as part of the ongoing Arirang World Tour, marking the largest headlining K-pop show ever hosted at this particular venue. Ahead of the actual performance, footage of Jimin during soundcheck, wearing a simple, understated outfit with sunglasses, generated an enormous wave of positive fan reaction, with many specifically praising how his natural charisma and presence managed to capture attention even during this purely functional, behind-the-scenes preparation process. That same energy carried through into the actual performance itself, with fans sharing additional footage describing an extraordinary, high-energy show throughout this historic first night at Gillette Stadium. This entire story really does illustrate something genuinely meaningful about the consistent, comprehensive fan appreciation that continues following Jimin throughout literally every single aspect of this touring cycle, extending well beyond just the polished, performance-specific content that typically dominates concert coverage. Whether it's a carefully choreographed stage moment or simply footage of him walking through an empty stadium during soundcheck, fans continue finding genuine reasons to celebrate and document his presence throughout this entire, historic American touring leg. Thank you so much for watching this video all the way through. If you enjoyed this breakdown of everything happening during BTS's historic first ever performance at Gillette Stadium, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update like this one in the future. Drop a comment down below letting me know what you thought about that soundcheck footage, and if you were fortunate enough to attend either night of this significant Boston area stop, I would genuinely love to hear about your own experience witnessing this historic moment in person. As always, thank you for being here, thank you for your continued support, and I'll see you in the next video.